Satnam and welcome to another episode in our continuing program, Your Miracle Mantra Moment. And today we're going to do what we always do, which is start out by chanting the Shabad Dandan Ramdaskur Jinsiriya Tine Savaria. And we'll be chanting that because it connects to healing, the healing energy of Guru Ramdas, and because it will connect us one to each other through this program, and also it'll give us a chance to connect to our inner self and find that sense of calm within us. And as I always mention, this can be practiced simply by chanting along with me, or if you want, you can do it with a mudra, where the right thumb is up, the left hand wraps around that thumb like a fist, and then the right fingers come up across the back of the left hand, and the mudra is just held gently at the heart center. The elbows are relaxed at your sides. You can have your eyes open or closed, or 1/10 open, focused at the tip of your nose. And I see that Kirandeep Kaur has been so kind as to put the words for the Shabad in the comments section. So if you are wondering about that, if you're unfamiliar, they are there and you can take a look. And so we'll start with that, and then we'll have some discussion afterwards. Tanna, 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 Ramdas Guru. Tanna, tanna, Ramdas Guru. Jinna Siriya Tinna Savariya. Siriya Tinne Savariya. Tanna, 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 Ramdas Guru. Tanna, tanna, Ramdas Guru. Ramdas Guru. Puri hovi kamat apasir janare dariya. Puri hovi kamat apasir janare dariya. Sikhi aate sangati par brahm ka naam sakariya. Sikhi aate sangati par brahm ka naam sakariya. Par brahm ka naam sakariya. Par brahm ka naam sakariya. Tanna, 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 Ramdas Guru. Tanna,
Jinnasiriya
Chaniya Gurditat Man Sadariya Gurditat Man Sadariya Gurditat Man Sadariya Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Well, I hope you're all doing well today. We are, as usual, we are joined by a growing group of regulars. And I'm just going to bring my computer closer so I can read the comments and say hi to everyone. So we have Susie Johnson. Well, welcome. It's been a long time. And Kirandeep, thank you for posting. Kulwant, welcome. Flory, yes, welcome back. Jesse, of course. And Gambardeli, yeah, okay, from Essex. Satnam and Gulzan and Mahan Sangeet. And then Satkirtan and Pav Singh and Sophie from Paris, welcome. Satkriya, of course, and Catherine from New Jersey, and Simran Kaur, welcome. All right, so I thought today that I would just touch on another Shabad that is related to Guru Ram Das. You know, we have talked a lot about Guru Ram Das and about this Shabad Dhandan Ram Das Guru, but there are several other important Shabads that are connected with Guru Ram Das. And so I'm going to play another Shabad just for a short little while that some of you may be familiar with. It's a short, very sweet Shabad. Ik Ardas Batiki Ratiki Guru Ram Das Rako Sernai. And this Shabad was actually written by a poet, not a guru. His name was Kirat Singh. And perhaps you've wondered why in so many of the compositions, Nanak, the name Nanak is in the last line. And it was very common in the poetic form of that day for the poet, for the composer, to have their name appear in the last lines of the composition. Hence, that's why we see Nanak a lot in the last line. But here we have Kirat listed in the last line. And so this was a person who lived, he was a contemporary of the early gurus, and his praise in this Shabad of Guru Ram Das and his the humility that in which he speaks about his relationship to Guru Ram Das was so earnest and so meaningful that Guru Arjan, who was the fifth Guru, and the person who put together, compiled the contents of what was initially the Adi Granth, the primal, the first Granth, and then later, with the addition of Guru Tegh Bahadur's shloks that were added by the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, that all became known as the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. So this Shabad is sung often around the Harimandir Sahib in Amritsar. In the programs of Kirtan, it is often included. And it's a very, very sweet statement by this poet Kirit Singh, where he says, Ham avgun bari ekagun nai amrita cha debike bikakai. I am overflowing with indiscretions and demerits. I have no merits. I have no virtues. I abandoned the Amrit, the ambrosial nectar, and I drank poison instead. So in this first line, Kirit is just saying that, I have lost my way. I am humbly saying to you, Guru Ram Das, I am without value because I have lost my way. I have abandoned the path. In the second line, Mayamo Brampe Bule Sutadara Syo Pritalagai, he says, I am attached to Maya. Maya being the tangible world around us, the desires, the attachments. And he goes on to say, and I am deluded by doubt. I have fallen in love with my children and my spouse. And of course we do that. We do fall in love with our family members. However, there is a point where that is a normal part of the human experience. But here he's saying that, he's allowed that to become more of a fixation, and he's forgotten his connection to the divine. He goes on in the third line, Ik uttam pant sunio guru sangat te milanta jamatrasamitai. I have heard that the most exalted path of all is in the Sangat, the congregation of the Guru's path. And that joining it, the fear of death is taken away, the fear of wasting a life and, suffering, my soul suffering on this chain of life and death, rather than being elevated toward liberation. And in the last line, Kirit says, Ikaridas Bhatikiratiki Guru Ram Das Rako Saranai. Kirit, the poet, offers one prayer. O Guru Ram Das, save me. Take me into your sanctuary. So I'm going to play this on the guitar. I have recorded this in this melody, and also I've recorded it in another melody. And but I thought I'd play the guitar today and play this melody. And I am grateful that Pav Singh has put the lyrics, put the words in the comment section. So if you want to sing along as I'm playing, feel free. And I won't play it for very long so that we can talk a little bit more, but Guru Ram I'm gonna party एक गुनगुनाई हम एक चादर के बिखराई हम अब गुण पारी एक गुनगुनाई गुरु रामदास एक So, I hope you got something out of being able to sing that Shabbat a little bit. It's um, it's just such a sweet, short little taste of Gurbani. It just, I played that Shabbat for many years with a couple of other tunes, mainly on harmonium, and and then and really I couldn't imagine a way to make that a little more accessible by bringing it um, into a more Western kind of music. And then in a dream, this melody and the Shabbat came together, and so I was blessed to be able to record that, and it's out there if you want to listen to it again with other musicians, playing along. Um, so, any questions this week? Anything going on with people that you have some questions about? The times certainly are stirring things up. Just about everybody I've spoken to over the last month or two, but seems more and more actually, are being confronted by, having to reevaluate. And just like the Shabbat was talking about, that, oh, I don't have any values, or oh, I don't have any virtues. It's causing us to question. This time is causing us to question, what are our values? What virtues are true that we've developed? And it can be a scary situation. You can feel a little like you're losing your footing at times. You're not sure of yourself, not as confident in your own understanding of who you are and what you feel is important. This whole question that came up around racism in the United States and around the world is causing just about everybody I know to really question what has been their own role in inequality. And so it's a hard thing to look at, but I encourage you to do it, but in the sort of safety of your meditative practice. Um, it can feel destabilizing, but if you have a practice, if you have some way to anchor into a spiritual, uh, divine presence in your life, a spiritual connection, then that helps, because you can access a kind of intuitive knowing in that time of meditative practice, where you can understand that yes, you have made mistakes in the past, but that you are stepping forward, holding on to a sort of renewed intention to avoid those mistakes, to avoid that lack of awareness that may have happened in the past. And so, hopefully we'll do better. The intention to be a better person and to be in the moment, in that better self, that better part of ourselves, is an important thing to remind ourselves daily about. And so that when we're sitting doing our practice in the morning, we can reconnect to that purpose, that statement of intention going forward in each day. And when you can connect with a shabad or a mantra that in some way represents that, then it can be very reassuring. There was a shabad that I recorded many years ago, Gurupure Mere Rakulai, and it just talks about the Guru has taken a hold of me and is protecting and taking care of all that I need. And it just was such an anchor for many years. And I remember my son was going away for a year, and I pointed him to that recording and just said, whenever you feel like you're alone, just listen to that and know that I'm with you, through the Gurbani, through the meditative intention, that I'm there with you. And so it was a great source of connection across time and space for us to have that. And so you may be able to identify, as I say, a shabad or a mantra that works for you and maybe works for in a relationship to keep a connection strong. I'm laughing inwardly because it's a bit like when a couple identifies the song they want to be played on their wedding, and that then forevermore that song reminds them of that day and reminds them of their commitment to each other. And so, we can use Shabad that way too. And it can be powerful. Let's see what Pav Singh has to share with us today. He says, going through adversity and these challenging times, and on top of it, not having that physical attendance in Sangat, has really perhaps given an opportunity to seek within. Yeah, I saw a couple of friends yesterday who I hadn't seen in a long time, and we were socially distancing with masks on and everything, but it was a real awakening to how much we have sacrificed in this time of COVID isolation. And I was talking to another friend today about whether the Gurdwara there where he was open, and he said they're still working on arrangements how to make that happen. And Gurdwaras in a lot of places have had to close, and so many people are missing the chance to come together and be in Sangat, be in the gathering of like-minded spiritual people, because it lifts us up, it gives us strength, just being in that presence. Let's see what... I'm sorry, Sarah, that you're not hearing me. All the connections seems to be as usual, and other people may be... Okay. Yeah, Kirandeep was saying just try disconnecting and logging back in. And then, of course, there is the recording that'll be there afterwards. And Jesse's saying sound is clear. Yeah, so, yeah, Anna, thanks that Anna can hear too. So we do our best in this virtual world of connecting through the internet to have Sangat. And it's been really beautiful to see how this community with these classes has really grown and connected, and I appreciate all of you who come regularly. It really helps us all to feel like we are actually connected to Sangat, to um, that feeling of support, even though we are far from each other in geographical space. We are here together in this internet space. So it's really good that we have that. And, this time of COVID has really helped us get over the hump. So many of us are now working from home, and maybe we always from now on will work from home. It's like we would have resisted perhaps if someone had said, "Oh, you need to work from home now on." But um, you know, here we're doing it, and we're finding success. My son, who is a manager at the University of Colorado Human Resources, they he says that his team is actually more productive from home than when they used to go into the office. So, I think that's an interesting observation. And I probably wouldn't have started these classes like this if COVID-19 hadn't come along. And so, we would have had programs in person, and they would have been wonderful too, to be with each other in person. But this is another type of experience. And even after COVID-19 is no longer an issue, or at least not enough of an issue that it stops us from gathering, um, you know, we will probably continue this kind of connection through the internet, just because it brings us together across much further distances. The summer solstice that happened just 2 weeks ago, normally that would have 2,500 people gathering in the mountains here. But most of those people, and I'm talking probably 90% of, if not 95% of those people, would only have been traveling a few hundred miles to get to the event. Whereas the e-summit, the virtual gathering that was hosted by 3HO, had over 6,500 people connected from places so far away that they would never have either made the effort or spent the money perhaps to travel to be at the actual in-person event, but they got to have an experience of being together virtually. And so, that's going to continue once the in-person event starts up again. They will also have part of that as a virtual event that people can join from far away. So let's see what Anna has to say here. She says, "I'm grateful for your videos because I get to see your face." Well, okay, thank you. Which is so comforting for our autonomic nervous systems. Yeah, seeing faces is reassuring. I spend way too much time by myself with the pandemic situation. Yeah, and I had toyed with the idea of doing this as a Zoom meeting where we could see each other, but the sound quality was not good, and there were other reasons. It just seemed that this was a better way to go. But I'm working on another program, an online program that I might do on a monthly basis, once a month, and thinking of doing that through Zoom so that we can actually see each other. And so I'll keep you informed as that develops. Let's see, we have, and I'm assuming that Gambardelli is a brand name for your company. So I don't know your name. Maybe you can put it in the chat. But the person from Gambardelli is saying that there's a social side to going to work, and some people meet their partners at work. Yeah, so you're right. So giving up that would be perhaps not good for the human race, because we'd stop mating and stop producing children. And yeah, so I get your point there. But I do feel like there's going to be some mix of both happening. And Margaret, thank you for putting your name there. So yeah, I think moving forward after COVID is less of an issue, then they probably people will do some of both. You know, coming together some and working remotely more. So we'll see. Um, I think I'm bringing this to an end today. I have a couple more Shabads that I want to share with you related to Guru Ramdas. Excuse me. So I hope to get to that next week. And as you see in the banner across the bottom, tomorrow for the Home Kirtan and Chat program, I'm very excited to have Guru Ganesha Singh as my guest. And he and I have known each other a long time. And I think we'll have a great time talking about his music. He's going to play some music. And so I hope you can join us for that as well. And then I'll see you next week, Tuesday and Thursday as well. So please stay safe, be well, and stay home if you can. And look forward to seeing you in the other programs. Satnam, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.